What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? I'm coming in piping red hot that time. Wow. It's your boy, MM2K, back with your co-host, Jack Deslippe, for another, the number show for Stadia. Hey, Jack, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic. As I always say, this is like my favorite hour of the month.
Awesome stuff. So, before we actually get started, though, because we're going to get right away to it, we got 10 giveaways to do. And we got a lot of numbers and stuff to go over. And we want to make sure that the raffle is set up and everything is good to go. I asked everybody in the chat to make sure that we got everything squared away to hit raffle. Something's going on with the systems. It wouldn't be a live stream if there wasn't some type of complication. So give us a few moments and then we're going to test it out again. But with no further ado, let me shout out everybody in the chat. Wow, there is a lot of people here so far. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the monthly show where normally the first Sunday of the month we go over the previous month's stats, but we had vacations and things to do with family and a whole bunch of that fun stuff. So we want to thank you for your patience, but we're kicking it off with an extravaganza of a giveaway. So thank you very much. But let me just shout out this chat real quick. We got Max Marksally, we got Igor, we got WJR. Oh, we got the Stadia fan of all fans, Amunar in the house. Victor Del Maestro. We got Game Developer. Who else do we have here? We got this guy named Jack Deslippe's in the house as well. Benny B. Anime Hashimi. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right. I'm getting better at that stuff. Who else we got here? We got Predator. And our good friend and Lee. Good to see you as well. And thank you so much for your support, man. Appreciate it. Calvin Morgan's in the house. Oh, everyone's favorite gaming dad. Cloud Gaming Dad is in the house too. Lord Vivek. Good to see you. Miss T22.
I'm surprised he's awake.
Oh man, that's awesome stuff. I'm glad she's here. If she's awake, this is unnormal. I'm glad she's here. Whole C22, Lilac Bunny, and who else? We got Tubaj 313, Igor, Pecan Fusions in the house. Peepo, Stadia Nor, Samu Garcia. We got Barnacle Boy, good to see you. And Lucry Lubo 89 is in the house. Everybody's trying to hit raffle. Let me do something because I think I do believe, Jack, that now it's registering. That's funny. Yeah, make sure you guys are subbed to the channel. If you're not subbed to the channel, you're not going to be eligible for the giveaways. Now they're coming through. Okay. I'm starting to, okay, Streamlabs just had to get itself together. Now it's coming through. I want to do something real quick. We're just testing this out. We're going to make sure that, okay, so I'm going to pretend close the entries. Again, this is just a test right now. We're going to pretend close the entries. And we're going to pick a winner. Okay, Tubaj is a winner. Pick another winner. Sonic Mart. Yeah, it'll let me do it. Okay. Pippo. So however you want to do this. Okay, now it's doing it. However you want to do this, Jack, we can do all 10 at one time. Okay. We can do them throughout the thing. However you want to do it. It's up to you.
Yeah, good. I say let's do all. We'll pick all the raffles kind of near the end. But why don't we open it up starting now and throughout the episode, people can do it.
Come in. All right.
And then maybe before we get to our segment on poor journalism, poor take of the month, we'll pull some numbers and then we can chat through that.
Awesome stuff. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We completed our test raffle. Thank you all so much for participating and making sure we got everything squared away. All right, so here it goes. Let me edit this so it's edit. Make sure that it reflects that there are 10 winners. 10 winners. 10 times winners. For September, save. We're gonna just the duration is gonna be about an hour. Save it. All right, and now let's start the giveaway right now. So there you go, my friends. The giveaway has started. Shout out to Cosino. Oh my gosh, Cosino, you are.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate the $50 super chat. Can I say something real quick, Jack? I know this wasn't part of the show, and I won't take too long. But Cosino, I don't know if you heard, but for this channel, opposite of this fantastic giveaway, to celebrate the fact that Stadia Dosage, thanks to you all, has surpassed 2,000 subs. And thanks to great people like Jack and everybody that's contributed, Project Storm, everyone that's made this possible, we are now changing how we do our monthly giveaways, our channel sponsor giveaways. Giveaways like today, and everybody, please thank Jack for this. These are all made possible because of Jack. We also are doing community give back giveaways once a month where we're giving out a controller or a bundle, kit, whatever the case may be. You'll find out each month. Your super chats go towards that. So depending upon your denomination will also add to how many tickets you get. So Casino, you just got a whole bunch of entries, my good friend. So it's just our way to give back. But no further ado, nonetheless, all that great stuff. I guess we can get on with the show, Jack.
Yeah, let's do it. And yeah, so just to be clear, the real raffle is underway. So
yes,
exclamation point raffle to join. Gotta be subscribed. And we'll pull the 10 names near the end of the episode.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start talking numbers.
All right.
So the first thing I wanted to highlight is the community growth. And one interesting thing about Stadia is that there's a number of ways that they are growing the community. They're essentially using, I think, like almost every social media platform that they can. But one of the ways that they're doing it is that they also have their own community forum. I don't know, if everybody even realizes that, but there's like a separate community forum from Reddit that exists out there, and this plot here. What you're seeing is the growth of that forum over time, and it's growing pretty steadily. For a while, it really peaked at a rate of like a few hundred people per day, and now it's dropped back to like the more maybe normal rate of about like 60, 70 people a day. But it's really closing in on that 100K number. And then the other big forum, as I mentioned, is the subreddit. And you can see how our Stadia continues to grow pretty constantly on Reddit. Of course, there was this like huge bump here in like the November, December timeframe when Cyberpunk was coming out and they were giving away the Premier Edition bundle. There was a bunch of new countries that joined Stadia during that time period, and things have kind of normalized a little bit since January, February timeframe. But you can see it's still growing at a pretty healthy, pretty steady rate. And comparing to these other cloud gaming platforms, Stadia is still the biggest community by far, almost equal to like all the others combined. One of the things that we show on the website is you can, instead of looking at just the count over time, you can also look at the growth rate over time based on the average per day, average per week, or average per month. This is how the average per day looks for the growth of our Stadia and our Geforce now. And you can see that they're all big peaks back in November through kind of January. And now we're kind of at a constant, somewhere around like 40 or 50 people per day, depending on the day, and pretty similar to the other real big cloud gaming service right now, which is Geforce Now.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things I've been that we kind of added over the course of the last few months was these estimated downloads. So Geforce Now actually had a bit of a milestone where they passed the 5 million mark just over the course of the last week or so.
Yeah.
You can see Stadia still growing pretty healthily at about 2.66 million.
Yeah.
And then a newcomer, the Luna controller app, is kind of just getting going.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that I mentioned last month is one of it used to be when you went to stadia.google.com in your browser, you were immediately sent to like a link that would have you go to the Google Play Store. And
Yeah.
now stadia.google.com is itself like a fully functional website that you can also install as a PWA. So it's a little bit hard to tell, but I think there was a slight dip in the slope for Stadia here. And maybe we could attribute that to the PWA being released.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit hard to say. GeForce Now actually has a PWA, but it's only for iPhones, so it doesn't really affect these Google Play
Okay.
members. They're still sort of sending everybody to the Play Store for Android.
Gotcha.
Um, one one of the things I think is important when interpreting these numbers, though, is to realize a few things. And one of the most important things I think is that these services are not all available in the same number of territories. And so if we take these last points on this plot here, so if we take like this 5 million, like about 2.6 million, and I think here maybe it was like about 25 or 30,000 for Luna, if I remember right. And we just plot them on a bar chart, those last points. It looks like this. But one of the other considerations is that we should look at the population that these are available in. So GeForce Now is actually available in many more territories at this point than Stadia and then certainly Luna. So if we look at the population that GeForce Now is available, they actually have hit about 2 billion at this point,
Okay.
which is good for them.
Yeah.
But I think we ought to consider that when we look at the numbers. So
Exactly.
Stadia is available just really in North America and you know most but not all of Europe at this point. Definitely not like the Russian part of Europe as well. But that comes out to be about 800 million people. So just short of the billions. And hopefully this is a place where Stadia expands soon. And then Luna, of course, is available just in the U.S., which is in the 300 millions number. And so if we kind of divide these two plots, so you can see that they look a little bit similar. If we divide these two plots, you can see we can come up with a new metric, which is like the Google Play users as a percentage of the available population. And that maybe gives you a better metric of the uptake of the services. And so you can see that GeForce Now and Stadia are kind of neck and neck here.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting at some point if like 1% of the population of of these areas were to try one of these services. I think that would be an exciting an exciting milestone. But even 0.3% of like a few billion comes out to be a really big number. So that's it's kind of exciting. And then Luna, is of course just getting started. This is also just the controller app. So it's a little bit harder to say.
Yeah.
If Luna might have actually more than this, but I think it's obvious that GeForce Now and Stadia are the ones that right now people are the most excited about and that have the most most people trying and using the services.
Those are some amazing
Okay.
estimates.
Yeah, so a couple new things on the site this month as well. So we started tracking TikTok followers,
Ah.
and there's kind of two that I've been tracking so far. I added a few more for for the upcoming weeks. But the original two that I started tracking were Color,
Yes.
who's a community member. His
Love
TikTok
his
channel is
channel.
colorful,
Yeah.
and he's actually doing pretty amazingly well on TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
believe it or not, he's past 30K. When I
Yeah.
looked last night, I think he was actually about 31K.
Oh wow.
So, one of the things that's really interesting about Color is that he's not just Stadia only, but he's like Red Dead Redemption 2 on Stadia only. That's the only game he streams, and he's making these little like short TikTok videos of like just cool things in Red Dead. Um, that's awesome. And then
Yes.
the Nerf Report also has a TikTok, not quite as active as Colorfuls, but he's kind of closing in on the 1K number. Some of the people that I added, like Cloud Gaming Dad, just created a TikTok, so he'll be tracked on here in the next segment or the next month. But congrats to Color for giving people a break of like people doing crazy dances on TikTok to see some Red Dead Redemption too.
Absolutely.
um, so since our last show, I think it's been a big month for game availability on Stadia. So we passed 200 games, now at 210. So really kind of flew past the 200 number.
Woo.
And there's been 102 of those have been claimable on Pro if you were a Pro
Wow.
subscriber since the beginning.
Amazing.
Um, so really, really, I think impressive numbers there. So my backlog is huge at this point. There's so many games that I want to play that I could, it's like on the order of year, or I think I'm counting my backlog in years now instead of just like weeks
Exactly.
or
It's
months.
insane. Insane.
And so this is kind of what we're celebrating today in terms of the giveaway. So, the 200 games, 100 pro games. So we're gonna give away 300 $300 in Google Play credit um, to help people buy some of these games.
Yes.
One of the things I've been doing is tracking AAA games as well, because it's not super important to me, but I know that
Hmm.
lots of people do care about the kind of the AAA games number.
Yes.
Um, and so I can say that we did pass 60, or I think we're right at 60
Wow. Okay.
um,
Cool.
on the platform this month. And this green curve here kind of shows you the current pro game population. So if you're a brand new user, how many pro games could you claim if you're just a current, if this was like your first month? And I believe that we're back up close to the top. I think this was like 30, 31 or 32, if I remember right. But you can see it peaked kind of last December, and then it dipped a little bit, and now we're sort of climbing back up as we get close to the end of the year. Another of my sort of favorite metrics is just watching some of these leaderboard sites
Hmm.
grow. And if you're out there playing Stadia games and collecting achievements and wondering what you can do with them, these are three great websites that you can consider joining that provide kind of like an overall community leaderboard for achievement hunting and achievement sort of gathering. StadiaHunters.com, probably my
Yes.
favorite, because it's like dedicated to this activity.
Same here.
Um, and one of the cool things about exaphase.com is that you can add your Stadia achievements to your achievements from every other platform, like um, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, or Steam. You can track them all in one place on exaphase.com. So it's a nice one to join too. And of course, stadiasource.com is kind of like one of the big community hubs for news, for making friends and commenting on articles and things like that. So the fact that you can also track your achievements there, I think, is a big plus. Um, so these are all growing. The exaphase number is probably going to pass 1,000. If we just kind of project this line out a little bit, we'll probably pass 1,000 in the next month or so, which will be a nice milestone. These are all, of course, like manual processes to join. Um, then a couple other new things that on the metric tracker is the game leaderboard sizes. Um, so I tweeted this out earlier this week, but I finally played enough of, I guess, the Crew 2 to be able to see the full leaderboard of players on the game. And I was able to kind of add this last point, and I'm now tracking it more regularly. And so the Crew 2 has now passed 60,000 players on its on its leaderboard. And I think one of the interesting things about that is it's never been on Pro. So to play it, you either had to buy the game or you had to have Ubisoft Plus. I think maybe some of the uptick here recently is Ubisoft Plus expanding to some new Stadia territories. And I guess I should mention it has had a couple free weekends. But I think the growth is generally people kind of paying in one way or another to
Yeah, absolutely.
play the game. And then I just point out that Sniper Elite 4, which I think is one of the more interesting game leaderboards, just because of how easy it is to get on the leaderboard, past 230K. So if you look at the growth over time, it really hit it up when it was on Pro. As a pro game for a number of months until January 1st, and then it's kind of slowed down, but the growth is actually still fairly impressive, like on the order of 20 or 30 people every day are added to the leaderboard, and it just passed the 230K mark. So that's currently the biggest leaderboard in Stadia. And then also new on the site is we added leaderboards for Madden 22. for Judgment, there's a part of the game, the drone races, that have a leaderboard that we've added, and this new game, Merrick's Market. So it'd be fun to kind of watch and see how these games grow over time, or their leaderboards grow over time. Yeah, so that's kind of the numbers update, and so we'll move into our second segment here, which is the shout outs to kind of some of the top growing content creators. One of the reasons why I kind of started this whole project is just to kind of track and maybe help support in a small way as I possibly can, in terms of the growth of content creators who are spreading kind of like a positive message about the platform. A year ago, or maybe like a year and a half ago, when I was kind of searching YouTube for Stadia, I saw a lot of big established content creators spreading a narrative that was pretty different from my own experience, and so I wanted to kind of help spread some of the positivity about the platform that I saw coming from this sort of grassroots Stadia community. And so it's been really exciting to kind of watch some of these folks grow. Here's kind of a plot of some of the top channels over time, and you can see Sunny Cloud Gaming really closing in on that 20K number now. I think
very close.
19,800.
Yeah.
And I think this is obviously going to be huge for Sunny, but it'll also be really exciting for the community in general. I think that there'll be sort of this one of our own, a grassroots person who's passed the 20K mark. That Nerd Nest, the Stadia Cast guys, are not too far behind. I would note that some of this growth, I think I mentioned this last month, is coming from some of their Steam Deck
Yep.
content. You can play Stadia, or we're anticipating that you can play Stadia on the Steam Deck as well. So, and then you can see Bryant in the Nerf report here,
Awesome
Shadow
stuff.
Wraith, Clive, Marquis, Kryman. all kind of exciting. One of the things I wanted to highlight this month is this list of sort of kind of up and coming panels that I think are going to be kind of like some of the new leaders in the Stadia community who are really growing quickly, and are still primarily Stadia focused, spreading a lot of positive energy on YouTube. So you can see, like, if you look at kind of the growth of Clive Elandon's channel, I think that's really exciting. You have these two Spanish channels, Marquise and Cryman, who I think are kind of racing each other to be the top here. Really fun to see both of them growing. Gem Stadia, of course.
Absolutely.
Data Stadia, Color, and of course this channel, your channel, MM2K.
Oh, look at that.
If you're in the chat and haven't subscribed yet, definitely do. You're missing out on MM2K, like dropping doses, I guess is the right word, of Stadia news and positivity, basically, almost every day of the week. Shout outs to Four Scars and Helix Cloud Games is the one that used to be Sounds of Stadia. They're still Stadia focused, just I think a rename. Cloud Gaming Dad, I think he's in the chat.
Yes.
Some big growth here. And Stadia TV, another Spanish channel there. So a couple, some shout outs here is that Color. So not only did he pass the 30K on TikTok, but he's passed the 2000K now on Stadia. And of course, congrats to you, MM2K, for passing 2000.
Oh, thank you.
And then big shout out to Cloud Gaming Dad, who I think is like really the community dad.
Yes.
For passing 1,000. Okay. So then, just by the numbers, like who were the top growing YouTube creators in August? NerdNest continued to have a big month. Sunny, of course, big month, really closing in on that 2,000 number. And you can see the list here of number of creators. I've started tracking this new channel, Balding Gamers, which
I like them.
Really a lot of positivity about Stadia. And then if we talk about the Twitter personalities, you see that Grace is again at the top. Not too surprising. This is the community manager. Big months for Gem, and a number of other really positive people in the community. Stadia Source is kind of the overall lead. They passed 3,000 followers this month and are growing at it still in a very impressive rate. All right, so that kind of concludes the second segment, and we're going to move into our main topic, which is about game fidelity. And by fidelity here, I'm kind of talking about resolution and frames per second in the games. It's been a kind of a hot topic, I think, in the community recently, and I just wanted to kind of see what some of the numbers had to say about it. So first of all, I want we usually save this for the end, but I thought I would just kind of go through and give out this award right here at the beginning, which is the community member of the month. This month goes to Original Penguin. So at Original Penguin on Twitter. And he is just an amazing guy because he goes through, I think, basically every game he can get his hands on Stadia, and he does these pixel counts to create a database of the resolution and frame rate of pretty close to every game in the Stadia library. So you can find all of that at this link here. And I think one of the cool things is that this is kind of all open. And this data, for example, has been included in the Stadia Enhanced Chrome extension. So if you have that Chrome extension and you're browsing the store on stadia.google.com, then all of the Original Penguin's numbers are kind of visible to you as you're, deciding which games you might want to buy. And you can just kind of immediately see what resolution and frame rate, for example, the game support. So very cool, cool stuff from Original Penguin. I was just going to kind of do a quick demo real quick of his actual website.
That'd be awesome.
If I can. So here's his link tree. And this is what I think he wants people to kind of, when they tweet out his project, is to kind of tweet this link tree. And as you go here, you can see a number of links. So this is the link to that extension that includes his data. And this is the database and a condensed version of the database that you can view as an example. So the database is, I guess, entered using this online tool called Airtable. And this is kind of what the interface looks like. So this is kind of the full thing. So if you look at one of these games, you can see place for the unwilling. He's got a link here, the release date, whether it's been pixel counted or not, the maximum resolution that he found that it actually supported, the frame rate that he found that it supported, whether it's HDR or SDR just being standard dynamic range. Wow. The game modes, whether it's cross-platform, developers, publishers, genres, languages, price. So a lot of really cool information here. For the purposes of this show, I'm going to try to focus on this maximum resolution column and the frame rate column generally. And he's got this condensed version of the database that generally does focus on those two as the main content. One of the cool things you can do is you can kind of filter games. You can add a condition. You can say, I want to filter games where the maximum resolution is basically 4K. So this resolution here. And you can see that there are 76 games where he pixel counted it and found that it's a legit 4K game. Wow. When you're pixel counting things. Yeah. And then you could say, and I want to know where games have frame rates that are 60 FPS. And so this is all the 4K games that are also 60 FPS. So I think that's kind of really a useful tool. The fact that so many other kind of data folks in the community, that this is all open. There's a API, or you can just download it all as a CSV by pressing this button here. Yeah. Super helpful to have this, because I see, there's so many times when people are starting conversations based on just kind of feelings rather than the actual numbers. It's really useful. I think it's really useful to have the actual numbers out there. So kudos to Original Penguin, Community Member of the Month. And thanks so much for your contributions. And this is just one of the things. Yeah. This is one of the things I love about the Stadia community, is that there's just people that kind of step up and fill these gaps and do something really helpful to make everybody's lives kind of better, everybody's experiences better with the platform. So with that said, if you want to support Original Penguin, he does, you can help support the costs of the hosting the data and just buying him a coffee to support his efforts. If you go to this link tree here, there's a button to donate and buy him, help him stay awake with a coffee. Okay, so I tried to kind of summarize some of the data that's in his database. Frankly, I think he does a pretty good job of this, and certainly better than I'm about to do. But um, if you want to know sort of what is the max resolution of games, and so I think I found that he'd actually pixel counted at this point 188 of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you can see that the max resolution of 4K
Oh wow.
is the kind of the biggest slice of the pie, 40.4.
Yeah.
And then the next category I have here is bigger than 1080, but not quite 4K. So some of
Oh,
them,
okay. Okay.
I can actually show you what this sort of means in real time. So if I were to go here, you can see that there's a number of resolutions here that are like 3456 by 1944, and there's the 2560 by 1440. So there's a number of resolutions here that are bigger than 1080.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
Awesome.
not quite 4K. And so that's what this second category is here, this red category. So bigger than 1080, but not quite 4K. And then the ones that are actually 1080 are here in yellow. Um, there are a number that he classifies just as pixel art, which are sort of intentionally in a retro, in like a retro style or a pixel art style, that are 10.6. And then a couple games are just lower than 1080 for some other reason. So that's kind of the resolutions. If you look at the max frame rates, where I believe if I looked at his database right, there's 195 games counted. Um, then actually the vast majority of them have a 60 FPS mode, like close to 88% here, whereas 12% are um, at max have a max mode of 30 FPS, even at like a lower resolution, for example. So to be honest, this was a bit higher than I was expecting, just based on sort of the amount of complaining that that I hear. But it's nice to know what the numbers actually say. Um, and then if you do the combined max modes, this is what this plot shows. So how many games actually support 4K and 60 FPS? So that's 26%. 4K 30, 15.1%. This category of greater than 1080p but less than 4K and 60 FPS is another 18 or 19%. The 1080p games that are at 60 FPS is 19.4. And I think if I read the database right, I think all the pixel art games were at 60 FPS. So that was another couple data points. So pretty, I think this is interesting stuff. Pretty, pretty nice to see the amount of games that are bigger than 1080p, and a good chunk of them still supporting 60 FPS. Of course, when you go over 1080p, it looks like not all the games are capable or currently running at that 60 FPS number. But a fairly good chunk are. Um, one of the things I tried to do this week was to tackle this question of, is there any actual correlation between like this resolution in FPS and game popularity? Um, and I actually spent a couple of hours looking across a number of different comparisons, and I have to admit that I couldn't really find anything. And the fact is that there are just frankly just too many
Mm,
variables there.
yeah.
Like in each game really is its own character.
Yep.
In some games maybe the frame rates per second matter more than others. But just to kind of give you an example of one comparison that I tried to do is I looked at the number of non-pro games, and the reason why I only looked at non-pro games is I thought that like maybe old pro games might just be kind of a wash because they're available to everybody. But if I
Mm-hmm.
look at games that you actually have to buy in one way or another, um, and compared like the playtime as reported by Stadia Hunters, which is a
Mm-hmm.
collection of like 1,200 of some of the probably most passionate Stadia people. Um, and I looked at the games that were 4K 60 versus 4K 30 in um, in Original Penguin's database and plotted their play times. And you can see this is sort of like a scatter plot. Um, you you can find that it's really hard to make any kind of conclusion here because in both of these categories there are games that have very little playtime and games that have like playtime over 10,000 hours from this kind
Mm-hmm.
of select sampling of players. Um, so uh, there's actually a pretty high density here for these 4K 30 games that are getting a lot of playtime
Yeah.
up at the top here.
Yep.
So, you know, and what I could say is I did a number of these comparisons like this, and these plots basically always look like this. It was like just a smattering across the board. And I think what we're learning is that like each game is its own story or its own
Mm-hmm.
character, and this fidelity is maybe just one piece of the reason why people might enjoy playing it or not.
Yep.
Um, So, in terms of the conclusions, um, it's sort of hard to really draw any. But here goes. I'll take sort of a stab. So, one of the things that we can say is that the numbers show that 2/3 of the games have a resolution that's greater than 1080p. Um, so, if resolution is important to you, 2/3 of the games are above that mark.
1080p. Yeah.
Approximately 88% of the games have a 60 FPS mode, if FPS is particularly important to you.
All right.
And 45% of the games kind of have it all, or have both. So they have a resolution that's greater than 1080p at 60 FPS. And so, um, I would bump this up to 55% if you count the pixel art games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not bad. I know that there are a few games out there that are kind of have been disappointing, like Ark, for example. I think some people are disappointed at the overall fidelity of that game, but
Mm-hmm.
overall, there's a lot of games running well on the platform.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, the last conclusion I'll just make is that, resolution and frames per second appear to be just kind of one of many, many factors that are affecting gameplay time.
Mm-hmm.
And based on like the discussion that we just had, I think the fidelity doesn't really appear to be an overwhelming factor. A majority of like Stadians' choice of games to buy and to play. And I think that certainly varies by person and varies by game. Um, so so anyway, little little teaser for the next section. So once again, kudos to Original Penguin
Kudos. Yes.
for
Absolutely.
putting this data together. Kudos to others like Stadia Hunters and Stadia GG for putting their data out there so that we can kind of combine them. Um, and um, I think it's about time for us to move on to the next segment, and then to start drawing names.
Now, before we go on to the next segment, I wanted to ask you, Jack, when we draw these 10 names, do we want to make sure that they're here, right? So we're going to need all 10 winners to respond, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So definitely for the 10 winners, respond. Send us like what we want for you is in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Put like your Twitter handle
Yep.
or like a Reddit handle, or some way for us to basically reach out to you so that we can send you your prize and make sure that it's not going to some other person of the same name or something like
Exactly.
right.
We'll do that. So maybe I don't know. Do we want to pick the winners now and then maybe do the last segment, and that'll give people time to do that, or what do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I say let's do it. So let's pick the winners now so that people can like start entering their data into the chat. And then we'll go through our last segment, which is like the poor journalism of the month.
All right. So we got a bunch of tickets in here, and we want to thank everybody for entering. Here's the thing, though. I'm seeing more tickets than people viewing, so by the time we get done with the end of that segment, if you haven't given us your contact information, we might have to select more if you get picked. So I hope you're around. All right, so let's do this. Let's start. Let's close the entries. Yeah, woohoo! Charles Aran. All right, hold on. Okay,
he got it under the buzzer.
Yeah, he came right at the buzzer. The entries are closed. They are closed, and we're gonna start picking winners. So on your march. Get set, go. Winner number 1 is Isaiah Rodriguez. Isaiah, please put a way to contact you on Twitter via email in the chat. So that's winner number 1, Isaiah Rodriguez. Congratulations. Winner number 2 is Zelda Blue. You are a second winner. Please put a way to contact you via Twitter or email, right, Jack? In the chat right now. You have to. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or Reddit. We'll take the Reddit name.
Yeah, we'll take Reddit as well. All right. So congratulations to Zelda Blue. Next winner is Danny Gallagher. Danny, congratulations. Please put either your Twitter, email, or Reddit contact information in the chat so you can accept your prize. All right. Next winner is John Payne, bringing the pain. John, put your Twitter, email, your contact information as described, your Twitter, email, or Reddit in the chat. Next winner is Gioli DeMarchi. That's Gioele DeMarchi, Demarchi. You are our 5th winner. Congratulations. Put your contact information in the chat. Next winner. This is our 6th winner. It is Miguel Mejia. Miguel, you are a 6th winner. Congratulations. To claim your prize, you have to put your contact information in the chat or we will select more. All right. Next winner is Sonic Mart. You are our 7th winner. Sonic, put your contact information in the chat as described so we can get the stuff to you. All right. Next winner is, our 8th winner is Glenn Clark. All right, Glenn, congratulations. So you were able to claim your prize. Put your contact information as described prior in the chat, and that is email, Twitter, or Reddit. All right, that was our 8th one. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more winners. 2 more winners. Let's go. Winner number 9 is Stadia German. Stadia German, please put your contact information in the chat. Low, that's winner number 9. All right, Jack. We got 9 winners. We only got 1 more. If all these people come through and put their contact information in the chat. And our 10th winner for the moment is Windstar Kenry V. Congratulations, Windstar Kenry V, supporter of the platform. Big time supporter, boy. Everybody's supporter of the platform that participated because you got to be subscribed in order to participate. But shout out to Kenry V. Kenry, put your contact information in the chat below. We're going to go through this last segment. While Jack is going through this last segment, I'm going to be checking to make sure that everybody has reached out through the chat with their contact info. All right. It is all yours again, Jack.
Okay, so MM2K is going to be checking to make sure that people have put their like Twitter handle or Reddit handle or email or something in there so that we can contact them. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next segment. So we've been calling this Poor Journalism of the Month. And I've decided to sort of maybe rename it this month to be Poor Take of the Month. Mm-hmm. Just because it kind of expands the pool of what we can cover, even though I think that the winner this month is probably well, it may be borderline journalism, I guess, but uh, um, this this is always actually a lot more competitive in a month than you might expect. There's just sort of this tradition of kind of writing either misinformation or just um, uh, sort of almost to the level of sort of hit pieces on Stadia in certain venues. And Kotaku has had their fair share of those. Um, the the winner this month goes to this sort of article that Google titled "Google Stadia loses another high-profile exec." And if you actually read the article, there's not a whole lot of content in it other than kind of a laundry list of all of the bad things that have happened to
Yes.
that at least in their opinion have happened to Stadia over the course of the last year. So what this is actually about was Jack Buser, who was promoted from a position in Stadia to a leadership role in Google Cloud, covering sort of like the gaming vertical in general. Um, and one of the things that I just want to point out is that when somebody from your division gets kind of promoted to a higher leadership role, this is typically something that is only good for Stadia.
Yes.
It's or like for the division that person left.
Yep.
It typically means it's something that the company thinks is like it's a vertical or a part of the business that the company thinks is important. And in particular, this is sort of what if you go to the original article where the Google VP that this Jack will be reporting to had a couple quotes. They in particular say that Jack's hire illustrates Google Cloud's continued investment into our global customer first gaming strategy. His 5 years at Google will help open doors for broader strategic partnerships with customers across YouTube, Stadia, and more. So, the article is written as if like Jack Buser was just so fed up with the Stadia division that he had enough, slammed the door on his way out, and like went to a competitor or something like that. And it really couldn't be sort of further from the truth. And so, congratulations again to uh, um, you know, Kotaku for having a poor take of the month. I think this is Kotaku's now showed up twice here in 5 episodes. But I don't want to leave that, I don't want to leave the kind of poor take of the month up as we continue our discussion and close out the show here. So I just want to remind you the Stadia Community Member of the Month, Original Penguin, and how you can go ahead and support Original Penguin by going to that link. So yeah, that closes out the content. How are we doing in terms of the?
Well, we
raffle?
really only have one. I'm reaching out to them now via the chat for your winnings. So we might have to do one more drawing. Glenn Clark. Glenn is in the chat, but he hasn't provided any contact info. He gave us a thumbs up, but we need some way to reach out to you, Glenn. This is for verification purposes, so it's for your own security that some other fake Glenn Clark doesn't contact us somewhere else and claim your prize. So we need your contact info, my friend, or unfortunately you would forego your winnings. And we also have a Gioli DiMarchi who participated, but they have not responded. All other 8 winners have submitted their. Okay, hold on. see here. No. Yeah, it's Gioli, and we're still waiting for Glenn Clark to provide their contact information. So, I don't know what you want to do, Jack. Do you want to give them a few more moments to possibly provide? Well, we'll give Glenn a few more moments if that's cool with you. But I haven't heard anything from Gioli, so we might have to pick another winner in place of Gioli.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pick a winner in place of Gioli, since I don't see anything from him either.
Yep. All right. So let's do that. So we're taking out Gioli. Sorry, Gioli. I'll give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Gioli. We had to take you out. Isaiah, hold on. Okay. All right, so now we're going to pick one more winner in place of Gioli. So let's pick that winner right now. And the winner, our new number 10 winner, is Mark's Alley. Oh, Mark's Alley. I saw you active in the chat. Congratulations, Marks. Hey, Marks, I hope you're still around. Marks, let us know if you are still here. Oh, he said, Mark says, oh my God. Yeah, Marks. It says the Twitter is Mark's Alley. Yeah, I think Marks was in there, cutting up a little bit in the chat. Congratulate, but hey, it's all about the support, so we thank you so much for the support. And also, all right, so Glenn, we're going to go back to Glenn here because I wasn't expecting this. Laugh my A off. There goes my luck for the year. Okay, Glenn. We got your thumbs up, Glenn, but I got to give you, I'll give you 20 seconds. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Sorry, Glenn. Deepest apologies, my friend. We got to take you out. So Glenn has been removed, and we're going to pick. Now we got a new number 10. Here goes our new number 10. Our new number 10 is. Let's pick the winner.
Right. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Okay.
Glenn, got in.
Okay.
Order ahead of time. We'll give it to you.
Okay. All right, Glenn. All right. So woo. All right, you got lucky. Okay. So we're gonna take who's that? Mr. Sorry. We get if your name popped up in the thing, we got to take you out. So Glenn.
Mr. Charles. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, Mr. Charles, are you around?
Yeah, Mr. Charles, you're around. We apologize for that.
Mr. Charles, send me put your name in and we'll give you a consolation prize.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic stuff. All right, Mr. Charles. Thank you so much. If you put your name in, Mr. Charles, if you're still around, put your name in. I mean, this has been great participation, great stuff. We'll give Mr. Charles an opportunity. Jack, did you want to you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Glenn's information. I'm gonna hit you in the DM with it because I definitely don't want to lose that. But this has been a great series of data that you provided. I think the biggest takeaway for me personally, it may be other stuff for others, is that the crew too, that those numbers going sharply up, and the representation of the actual 4K 60 games that are on the platform. It says that the platform is still growing. We hear a lot of murmurs, Jack, about is Stadia still getting new people? Well, we extrapolate that every month. It shows that on average it's like around 1,000 people or something like that a day that interact with the platform and so forth. But that whole 4K 60 thing for the crybabies like me, that was big, man. That was big.
Right. Yeah. I know that the 4K 60 is important to a lot of people. They they care a lot about the fidelity. One of the and that to be fair, I think that was one of the original promises of cloud gaming, is that it would give you very, very high fidelity. So it kind of makes sense that for some people, at least, it's particularly important. And it's good to see that there's not every game supports 4K 60, but there's certainly a number that do, enough to show that like the Stadia platform itself can certainly support that level.
Absolutely. I see Mr. Charles in the chat. I mean, we're about to close out, but Mr. Charles, I mean, look here, give us your contact info, brother. We'll get you hooked up. So let us know before we close out, if you could do that, and I'll get that over to where it needs to go. All right. With that said, hell of a show, man. Fantastic stuff. I want to. Oh, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say thanks as always for hosting this and having me. I think for anybody who doesn't know, MM2K does really all the technical stuff. I just kind of show up and talk for a little bit. But this is really MM2K's channel, and make sure everybody subscribe and join if you're interested, and check us out in a month, but also check out everything else that MM2K does.
Absolutely appreciate it. Yeah, and I got Mr. Charles' contact information. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Yeah, no, fantastic stuff. Thank you, Jack, for everything you've done. Even though I'm doing the technical stuff and just pulling the levers, man, you're doing the hard work, and this is stuff that the community needs to see so they can understand. Facts and data and all that other stuff. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. And it's good for the numbers to be put out there opposed to a lot of the conjecture that's out there. I also want to close out by saying thank you all for getting us past 2,000. Here's to 2,000 more. And to show our appreciation, we are doing bigger community givebacks. So definitely all of you who have participated with super stickers and super chats, shout out to Cloud Gaming Dad, who gave a $5 super chat. He said doing an incredible job for the community. Who else did we have out here? We had Cosino that increased his membership. Thank you so much. And then we had our good friend Four Scars Gaming provide a $5 super chat. So thank you guys so much for all this great support. Keep it up, because it's going to go back to you guys in the form of raffles, monthly raffles, along with what we do here on TNSS. So with that said, thank you all so much. This was a wonderful time, a great time as usual. And until next time, have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.